everybody, and welcome back to Stack Up Review. Tonight, I just thought I'd do another video on, you guessed it, Mortal Kombat. Now, in regards to my last video that I posted with Mortal Kombat, and that they have that Mortal Kombat has a villain problem. Yes, Mortal Kombat has a villain problem, and as you guessed with this video, I just want to have a quick, easy discussion highlighting who the main bad could be of Mortal Kombat 1. Now, this is in conjunction with my other video that I posted that it has a villain problem. Now, we could speculate that Kronika is the main bad. They brought Kronika back for some reason. Although I still disagree, bringing her back into this new era is kind of a big mistake, because honestly, she wasn't very well received as a villain. I don't know about everybody else, but I thought she was trash. And that I thought she was also a very weak villain. But for her to be included back in this story as a main bad, they really got to hone. They've really got to explain how she's been brought back for the new era, and why Liu Kang would, even consider bringing her back into his new era, considering what role she played in Mortal Kombat 11. Like I said, Shao Kahn, Shang Tsung, either one of them looks like Shao Kahn's falling into the same role. Well, General Shao, sorry. General Shao could be, the main bad. But then again, like some people pointed out in my other video in the comments, that it's basically just a supercharged Mortal. It's just a supercharged Mortal Kombat 2. Along those lines. Basically, Shao Kahn and Shang Tsung have been used for the better part of 30 years in the franchise. All the more power to them for being used for 30 years. But when you repeatedly use a villain like Shang Tsung and Shao Kahn repeatedly, and they fall into the same villainous ways, it's pretty much guaranteed that they're really not going to offer anything new. But I'm open, but I also think it's a big mistake making them, making General Shao, as he always is, evil, and he's going to overthrow Sindel, and we'll have the same scenario where he kills her and reincarnates her and stuff like that. We don't want a repeat of a storyline that has been used and used and used. I didn't like the way Sindel's story played out in Mortal Kombat 11 either. I really did not like it at all. You could go for the fact that Shinnok could be the main bad, but he's been used for the better part MK4, and then he wasn't and then he turned up again in Armageddon, obviously not as one of the big bads as such, but then his main role again was in MKX, which was a rebooted timeline, which is from the rebooted timeline of MK9, and he appears at the end of MK9. So essentially Mortal Kombat 10 is virtually an upgraded version of Mortal Kombat 4. That's how I put it. Now, and Shinnok was then used again in Mortal Kombat 11 in conjunction with Kronika. Now, Shinnok could be used as a completely different in this new timeline. I don't know. I'm just speculating here. He could be used as a good guy. He could be used as a bad guy. But we've seen enough of Shinnok. We've seen enough of General Shao. We've seen enough of bloody Shang Tsung. Inevitably, it's just repeating a storyline that really, we don't need to see. They've been used for the better part of 30 years. And I think their storylines have played out, I think, as such. I don't know about everybody else. I don't know how everybody else feels, but I feel like they've been played to death. And when I discussed it in my video, I may have not gotten across very well what they need to bring to the table in order for it to work, and how they're going to bring new characters in. Now, what I mean by bringing new characters in, you could introduce them into the story, and then slowly over time it forms, and obviously we get the new big bad. Because I'll put it this way, a lot of people have surmised that it could be Onaga. Now, Onaga was teased in Deadly Alliance, and then in Deception he was the big bad. He was the one that, you know, faked being Damashi in order to get Shujinko to do his will, and he did. And then he was the big bad throughout Deception. Absolutely amazing Deception was. But then since then, he's not been used in over 17 years. Bringing him back and him being the big bad of this story would be refreshing, because we've not seen him for the better part of 17, 20 years, or however long it's been. Now, what is very interesting, which I have seen people, which I do question a bit, is in Liu Kang's new era, it's pretty much he doesn't know who is trying to foil his new era, and he's got to find it. But it's someone he never would have never saw coming. I can't see it being Chronica, because even if he crafted the new era, wouldn't he be aware of? Obviously he knows what happened with Chronica, so he would see Chronica's. If he brought Chronica back into the new era, wouldn't he see that she could potentially be a loose end sort of thing, that she could potentially turn evil? It's the same thing with Shang Tsung and General Shao. He would see them coming as villains. So it doesn't really make sense in his bio that it would be them. But also, too, he would also know Shinnok, because he's been around with during the time of Shinnok as well. So he'd know if it was Shinnok. Where I think that it could very well be Onaga is the fact that Liu Kang died at the beginning of Deadly Alliance, so he officially is dead in that game. He is officially still dead in Deception, and had no idea of any of the events that took place in Deception. And then, of course, Armageddon. And then, of course, you've got MK9, which is rebooted. So it's basically a rebooted timeline of the first 3 games. And then, of course, you know what happens. Raiden accidentally kills Liu Kang. And then, you know, we jump into the brand new era of MK10 and MK11. And now MK1. For Onaga to work in being the big bad, Liu Kang wouldn't see him coming in terms of that, because Liu Kang wasn't there for those events. So he couldn't see he can't see Onaga being the villain. I don't know. I'm just surmising here. It makes a whole lot of sense that it could very well be Onaga. But at the same time, if it is Onaga, they're obviously hyping him up in some respect, because I believe in one of the intros and whatnot, someone asks, is Onaga in your world or whatever? And Liu Kang responds back, is he in it? He rules it. So Onaga does exist in this new era. How they handle him in this new era is yet to be seen. If he is indeed the big bad of this one, then we are in for a surprise, I think, and it's going to be refreshing. But in terms of the likes of Shinnok, General Shao, Shang Tsung, and Chronica, I just think they've been used. They're really not adding anything new to the franchise as of now. And I believe with the 3D era characters being introduced again back into this franchise after 17, 20 years, I give Ed Boon and NetherRealm Studios kudos for that, because Ashra, Havoc, Nitara, just some of those to, get off my chest. They are bringing some of those characters back. Shujinko as a cameo, Striker as a cameo. So they are bringing back 3D era characters, which a lot of people absolutely love. Now, in terms of Shang Tsung and Quan Chi being a part of a Deadly Alliance again, we've seen it. We saw it in Deadly Alliance. We saw it in Deception. It's been played out, I think, and just them repeating the same storyline, them forming another new Deadly Alliance, I think is a waste of time, and it's a waste to the story. It's a waste to the story, because I want Mortal Kombat 1 to be something new and fresh and invigorating to the story. And I'm excited for it. Don't get me wrong, people. I'm excited for it. I'm just a little bit concerned and a little bit, I don't know, confused as to why Ed Boon would want to repeat some of the storylines that have already been used. But he could surprise us all, and it goes in all different directions. But it's also the same. It's like the same thing with Scorpion and Sub-Zero. They always, they have this rivalry. It goes into the same old. Whether it be Sub-Zero that murders, or obviously it was Quan Chi, but we do know that there's going to be a rivalry with Scorpion and Sub-Zero. You can see it automatically. Stuff like that. It's repeating past games' storylines, and I really don't know how to take some of it, whether it's good or bad, or whether it's all just a little bit confusing. I don't know. I don't know what angle NetherRealm Studios and Ed Boon are trying to play with the whole new era and the storylines that they're going for. I'm glad Lee May's back. Tanya, I have my thoughts about Tanya have changed, and I actually am excited to really, really dive into Tanya and play Tanya and see how different she is from Mortal Kombat 4 and other games. At first I was a little bit like, I don't really like the design of her. There's something was off, but then I've looked at it going, well, no, actually she's different. She brings something different to the franchise now, being Ungari, and heck, she looks different. She doesn't look ugly. I think she looks fine. I think what was really bugging me about Tanya was just her outfit. I think it didn't gel enough, but when I look at it, I'm thinking, no, Tanya's design is fine. I like Tanya's design. I can't wait to get my hands and play her as such to find out how she works and how she's going to work with cameos as well. But I am looking forward to playing Tanya. Looking very forward to playing Liu Kang, Reptile, Havoc. my two mains, Reptile and Havoc. And Ashra. I absolutely love Ashra. But in regards to this video, it was just simply any one of those villains that I have spoken about could be the big bad. We don't know at this point, but I just want them to play out their storylines completely different from all the other games and make it worthwhile, make their storylines worthwhile. But at the same time, I'm still very concerned that it's going to fall into the same category as it always did, as it has in previous games. You know, MK9 is essentially a reboot of 1, 2, and 3, but added some characters that weren't even in it didn't even appear in the first 3 games, which was kind of cool, but also kind of like, what? Kind of like a bit confusing as such. And then obviously MK9 ended and it dived into Mortal Kombat 4. So essentially, Mortal Kombat 10 is essentially a reboot of Mortal Kombat 4, but goes down a completely different path, being set 25 years later after MK9, and then MK11 uses Chronica and Cetrion and the Hourglass, really confusing, just completely changes the entire lore of Mortal Kombat, and it was confusing why the Hourglass aspect of the story was even a thing in Mortal Kombat, because essentially means Chronica was the one pulling all the strings in all the games, and that essentially all those games that we played in the past are essentially Chronica's doing, and even the rebooted timeline was Chronica's doing to get it to this point. I don't know. It shows how much I pay attention to Mortal Kombat 11. As I said, Mortal Kombat 11's story was trash. I did not like it. But I enjoyed aspects of Mortal Kombat 11. I loved the gameplay aspect, some of the characters' designs and whatnot, and the Towers of Time and stuff like that. I enjoyed doing those, but I did not enjoy the story. I thought the story was trash. It really ruined a lot of lore, and it ruined a lot of characters' stories, in my opinion. But I'm not here to completely bash on MK11. But I do hope that MK1, whichever villain it is, hoping that it's Onaga, but it may not be Onaga. It may be someone else fucking entirely different, that really takes us by surprise, because it's in Liu Kang's bio or Garrus's bio, where he has to find, but it's someone that they never anticipated. And I think Onaga is that villain that they never anticipated. But then again, I don't know, because Onaga could be good in this timeline. Onaga could be someone completely different and not be the big bad of this. It may be a Titan that Liu Kang never saw coming. I don't know. That's what's exciting about it. But yes, I just wanted to cover this, have a chat about it. Whether or not anyone watches it is really up to them. But like I said, I'm open to anybody commenting. Like in my previous video where there were comments going, and I was replying back to comments from people in terms of what they liked, disliked. You know, some people called me out and felt like I was attacking the community as such by, you know, calling them toxic or whatnot. I'm not calling, I was simply just pointing out some stuff within that community, within the Mortal Kombat community, that really I felt, and that's just in my opinion, I needed to get off my chest. But other than that, I am open to anybody just discussing it, discussing what they think is wrong with the story, what they think is right with the story, what you hope to see, what you don't hope to see. It's all open for discussion. I'm open to anything. I'm open to listening to comments. But other than that, thanks so much for watching, guys. Really just wanted to get this off my chest, and really talk about it and explain a little bit more, if I didn't explain it in my last video as well, why I think over the last 30 years certain villains need to change and not be used, and we add new characters, we not as such, but add old Mortal Kombat characters into a story and focus on them, focus on their backgrounds, focus on what that makes them evil, what makes them good, what makes them neutral. I would love a Havoc Central story where Havoc is neither good nor bad, he's neutral, chaotic. And he would be great as a contender, as being neither good nor evil nor bad, he just wants chaos. But he could be a contender for being a real bad, good, neutral character. And, another, someone that we never expected, that we haven't seen in over 20 years, turns out to be a villain in Liu Kang's new era. Who knows? Kira and Cobra. We haven't seen the likes of them. I would love to see what they do with Kira and Cobra. Movado, Darius, Dairu, Hotaru, Xu Hao. I would love... Xu Hao could be a real formidable villain from the 3D era, and you could actually make him a really formidable foe and make him like stiff competition for the likes of Kano and Cobra. You could make him a real threat. You could make Xu Hao a really formidable antagonist. But who knows? They're just some of the ideas that I had. And yeah, I just wanted to talk about them. But thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate you all watching this video, clicking on it, giving me a like, subscribe, anything. It really helps me out. Well, I'm just excited to even get likes and comments. I enjoy doing this, and I will see you all with some new videos very, very soon. All right, guys, take it easy. Bye.